homeschool mom to two boys, grades 4th and 6th. And today's video is going to be talking about what we do in our house for the new school year switch. We're year-round homeschoolers, and so we don't have a lot of time between the end of one school year and the start of the other. So I'm going to be sharing what that looks like in our home. So the third week of June is always our last week of our school year. We complete everything by that week. And typically, they don't have all of their subjects left. They kind of start dropping subjects as they finish them kind of by May. And so things kind of trickle out, and typically by the end of the third week of June, they probably only have maybe 3 subjects left that they need to complete. And so there's typically less school needing to happen anyways, but I do try to do something to kind of make that last week just a little bit more special. They've worked really hard and they've come to the end of a school year, and it's just worth celebrating. And so what I do, typically when they are done with school for that day, just in that last week, they can have some sort of a candy item. So that's just something little per day. But then on Friday, or sometimes that weekend, we'll do something as a family that's just fun to celebrate the end of the school year. Sometimes we go to the zoo, sometimes we go and see a movie, or go to a restaurant. And this year, however, it just so happened that there was a Comic Con event at the state fair that we live right by. And so we ended up going to that on Friday. And I think that the boys had a really good time. It's full of things that are interesting to them, and they got to see a lot of cool costumes and check out a lot of cool booths. And so they had a couple different areas. So there were a lot of interesting things for them to look at and check out. They did even have one area where it was this room just full of video games, which was a real hit with my kids. They had a ton of computers, and then they even had couches with TVs, driving video games, and then there's kind of sort of an arcade area too. And all of that was free, so you just come and go as you like. And then they also had an area for board games, tabletop games, and there was a lot of role-playing stuff there, which the kids liked. And you could just grab a game off the shelf and just play it there and then put it back. So overall, it was a really nice, and it was kind of a unique end of year celebration that we did this time. But whatever we do try to just sort of make a big deal out of the accomplishment. And so that's kind of what our last week of school will look like. And then the last week of June is when we do our state testing. And my last video talked all about that. So if you have any questions or you're curious about how that works for us, last week's video, go ahead and check that one out, and that'll help give you all that information. But typically we are done with the state testing by Wednesday. And then a thing that's unique to our family is one of our kids actually has his birthday during that week. And so we always have a birthday celebration in the last weekend of June. This year we did end up taking our kids to Great Wolf Lodge. We live nearby one of those. And so the 4 of us just had a really good family time there. And so there's always a birthday celebration right between both of our school years. And then that brings us to July, and that is the first week of our new school year. So we just hop right into it. Like I said, we have 1 week really between the 2 school years, but we are doing state testing in between that. So it's kind of like a week, or maybe just a weekend. It's, however you see that. But we did start school on July 1st, on Monday this year. What I've been doing the very first day of school for the new school year is we actually don't do any schoolwork on that day. And instead what I do is I lay out all of their schoolwork that they're going to be doing that year. And it can kind of look like a lot, but we're not obviously every single day. There's some subjects we only do once a week or twice a week. But what I like to do is I lay it all out for them, and then what we do is we go through each subject together so that they can understand kind of what the differences are. If it's a new curriculum that they're unfamiliar with, we'll talk about how you would do it. Just a lot of just kind of the details of things. So, for example, the first one over there by the window is math, and so my younger son is going to be having video lessons for the first time this year. And so we talked a bit about that, and then also the fact that he has this mental math book that is also new for him. And then things like Fix It Grammar is brand new for my younger son. My older son did it in third grade, but just a reminder of how that's going to look. And so I just lay it all out, and every once in a while I'll stick kind of some more candy there just to keep them going with this. It really doesn't take that long. I think it'd be, say it's under 30 minutes even. It kind of depends how much chit-chatting ends up happening, but that's what I like to do. And then at the very end of the table in this thing I'm showing you, I have our family subjects. So I have the history and the science and the geography and the map skills there. Those are things that we're going to be doing together, and I explain that to them. And so this was just something I like to do to help them just see their whole grade at a glance. Now, things change. There have been times where I get a curriculum and then realize this is not for us, and I pull it. So everything is open to being flexible, but I do enjoy letting them see, this is all you're going to be accomplishing this year. And it's just been kind of a nice, really slow start to a brand new school year, especially since they just finished their last one, but they are typically very excited to start a new grade. And then what I'll also do as we're going through each subject is explaining what our weekly schedule is going to look like. That's something that I have already sort of tried to figure out, and I'm going to be committing to about like 2 to 4 weeks of it just to see how it goes. And so they'll have an understanding, okay, so Fix It Grammar will be doing twice a week. The creative writing we'll be doing once a week, and so that just kind of know what the week's going to look like. But then also the reminder that we're not doing all of these subjects every single day. And currently, I think what we have is just 4 subjects a day, and that works out really well for us. And then what I also had was my 6th graders' elective classes set there for him to look at. He decided which ones he wants to start with. He'll be starting with 2 this week, and then halfway through the year we'll switch for the other 2. But just I was showing him all of the resources that I had collected for those electives. And then when we've gone through everything, there's no questions, we go ahead and we put it all away. And then what the 3 of us will do is we'll sit down and we'll decide how we're going to do our reward system in school this year. And the 3 of us make up what earns 1 sticker towards this reward basket that I have. And when they earn so many of those stickers, then they get to pick something. And so they get to see what new items I've put into the reward basket, and then they also get to help come up with some ideas. There's a couple that always seem to come back each year, but then this year they did add a couple more ways to earn stickers. And so it's just something that I like to do with them and get their input, and then that kind of reminds them this was their idea also. But it is just a little thing that we do simply to have a bit of incentive when it comes to school. When you do year-round schooling, I mean, it can get boring. It can get just kind of mundane, and so just trying to find these little things that I can do here and there to kind of just help bring some excitement to the school as well. So that is always what we do for day 1, and then on Tuesday is when we actually start our first day of schoolwork. Now, this week it didn't end up working out that way. One of my kids ended up getting sick in the middle of the night, and mom has to clean all that up. And so Tuesday didn't start off well, and ended up being a sick day. So we actually did not do our first school day till Wednesday, and then Thursday was 4th of July, and then Friday we did school. So even our first week of school wasn't super strong. We only did 2 days this week, but it was still kind of a nice slow start because I try not to start real hard and strong on the first week anyways. And so that is typically what happens every year. In our basically our 3 weeks it takes to switch from one school year to the next. Our end, our last week, our celebration, our family celebration for that, our state testing, the birthday celebration for one of our kiddos, and then our first week. And so those are what those 3 weeks look like for us each year. So it's pretty simple, but some people do ask what that looks like for us. And at this point, we kind of have the same routine every year. And so, yeah, I hope that that was somewhat interesting. If you're curious, if you have questions, you can let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.